Good afternoon and welcome to the Appointment Subcommittee for the meeting of November 13th. We have before us, and I'm going to ask the indulgence of the membership of the City Council, namely the Appointment Subcommittee. We have one particular item on the agenda, and I have two others that have been asked that we reviewed this evening, and we can vote appropriately this evening afterwards. And it's going to read as follows. First, we're going to have the hearing for 17-238, Dan McGuire, School Committee Member, Special Municipal Employee Disclosure Form. When you come to the podium, please state your name and address for the record, please.
Dan McGuire, 114 Pearl Ave.
Mr. McGuire, for the edification of those in the audience and for those at home viewing, please outline as brief as possible your request.
It's a request that's required, much like about 2 or 3 months back, there was a school nurse who was employed by the school department who wanted to be a coach, which comes with a stipend. So in order for her to collect the stipend and to collect her nurse pay, she needed a vote of this council. She got that favorably. Back in 2012, I was thinking of retiring and got a special municipal employee to be a 911 call taker. This is basically the same animal. I'm current school committee member. A job came up in security at Seacoast, and I'd like to say that salary is $25,000 a year to work 7:30 to 3 this calendar year at Seacoast High School. The issue with the ethics is you can hold the job and you can collect both school committee pay and security as long as the council votes it, and if not, I would have to recuse myself from any further meetings. I really just want to finish my term as a school committee member. I've given 13 years to that body. It's a small amount of money that will go towards my daughter Megan's college fund. I enjoyed myself on that committee, but if anyone has any questions about the way it works, I'm here.
What kind of money are we talking?
It's 3 months' pay for the school committee is $500 for stipend, and the expense account $500. So it's $3,000 you're talking about.
Okay, let me first introduce members of the, as we have the City Council as a whole, but first let me introduce members of the subcommittee. Councilor Giannino, Councilor McKenna, Councilor Morabito, and Councilor Patch. I will take inquiries from the membership of the City, the Appointment Subcommittee, and then any councilors are wishing to come in thereafter. Any members of the subcommittee wishing to speak? Councilor McKenna.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Danny, we've been friends for a long time, but I'll tell you, when I was a school teacher and I got elected to be an elected official, I couldn't take 2 checks. I had to give up one of them. So I worked as a counselor for 2 months without pay.
Right.
When I became a counselor then, and I retired from school teaching, then I got my counseling degree, my counseling paycheck. And then just recently, the Senior Center wanted me to teach watercolors to the seniors. And I went to the Ethics Commission because, and they told me I couldn't take 2 paychecks in Revere, that it was against the, it's against
well,
what...
they told me something different, and it needed a vote of the council, so I'm back here. Listen, I totally understand if you vote against the stipend, but I would just consider it because I like to finish the term. But it's totally legal. It's not something that, I don't know, your case was different. The case with the nurse, and it's the same department.
When did you start this job at
September.
Seacoast? Okay, thank you. Okay, thanks,
Councilor
Danny.
Patch.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Dan, if you continue as a school committee person, you don't have to give up. You just don't have to give up the salary.
Well,
you don't have to give up the job.
That's not what I was told by ethics. Was it needs a vote of the council, a yes or a no. A no.
Well, I can't see that because you've been doing it.
Maybe the city clerk can help up with that, but
you have a ruling on that, Madam Clerk? Or do you have any knowledge of, I mean, other people have done it, have worked with no
I
salary.
wouldn't be able to comment on that, Counselor. That would either be a question for the city solicitor, Paul Capizzi, or the Ethics Commission.
He's not here now.
I mean, I really, you put us in a predicament here. I mean, I've been getting calls. One person that made very little money as a cafeteria worker wanted to be a crossing guard. She would cross the guard, and she'd work, she was actually doing it. She was working in the morning, going to be a cafeteria worker, and work crossing guard in the afternoon. The scheduling worked. But the school department told them that, no, you can't have two paychecks. They made us stop being a crossing guard. I don't know if this is factually true, but I've heard it from several people. And, you know, I could really, you know, this is hard because you're a friend of mine. And ethically, though,
Well, that's why I went
I
to the
have a
State
pro- I have
Ethics
a problem
Commission.
with it.
Ethically, it's been passed in the past. It's been done. Some situations are different. I'm just called the State Ethics and doing basically what they said. You need to get a vote, a yes or a no. They can't table this motion. And if you vote no, I still like you. It doesn't affect me. It just, my daughter's college fund will be less.
It's just that, like Councilor McKenna said, there are some incidents where I know for a fact that they, you know, wanted to be a coach or something, that they were prevented from doing it, like people that, a fireman or a policeman. It's just that it really, I could see if there was a real financial problem, I could see voting for it, voting for somebody that had to have it.
Again, I don't have to have this. It's just a matter of paperwork. I just do not,
But I really don't see how you can't continue. I feel, honestly, I can't see that you can continue if you want your term, the
Right.
rest of your term,
right.
without being paid. I mean, that.
We can find that
They
out.
can't stop you from doing that.
We can find that out with our own city solicitor.
So, I just find it very hard to start something here that might backfire people that were turned down in the past, like the incident I just mentioned. I'm sure there's more out there that have been turned
It could have
down.
been that she was a cafeteria worker that was on call. I don't know the situation.
Well, I mean, but I'm sure there's many people out there that had, not many, but I'm sure there's a lot, a lot of people that tried to get two salaries from the city, and it's not allowed. And shame on the Ethics Commission for putting on the council, because, I don't think it should be our decision to actually vote on this. But where it is, we'll have to do it the way I feel that I have to go. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Pats. Councilor Morabito.
School Committee Man McGuire, I guess my question would be, when push comes to shove, are you looking just to finish off your term as school committee person?
Yes.
Or
the
would
pay
you be
is-
looking to, would you be willing to do it without the stipend?
I do it without the stipend, but what I'm being told by state ethics is it has to, you can't do one without the other.
Mr. Chairman, I recommend, and he was fine with getting a recommendation from the city solicitor?
You just stated previously that we can't hold this over. We can't table it. Mr. McGuire told us we can't table it. Then he also has.
Listen, you're all friends, vote your conscience, I have no problem one way or the other. I
Well,
just wanted to clear
let me
the air.
take everybody off the hook here. Everybody is friends here with you, Danny. You're a well-liked individual. And it pains us to make decisions sometimes against a very good guy like you.
Thank
And
you.
so
Thank you.
I don't want to offer any excuse for anybody. Everybody has a right to vote how they feel.
Right.
But in judgment of you, everybody likes you very much in conversation that we've had over the years. So
Thank
please, whatever the bearing is tonight, don't let that be a reflection of the individual.
I'm a big
because
boy.
We're charged with a responsibility, and we're doing what our constituents ask us to do.
Thank you.
Councilor Janino.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I think this just puts us in a really tough situation. You've done an amazing job for our school system.
That's
and
what I want to hear,
What
Jess.
you've
Thank you.
done, you're welcome, and you've done a lot for the kids in the school system. You put your own children through our school system, so I don't think that something like this should cast a shadow on all the work that you've done for the years that you have for the city of Revere. And I know that Seacoast is very lucky to have you, and that you're going to be doing a great job there, working with those kids.
I did the
So-
right thing.
Of course. And it's a tough situation because I want to see you finish your term on the school committee because you've committed so many years to it and you've done so much for it.
Right.
But I don't see why the school committee would be any different than the city council. So if Councilor McKenna could do the paperwork however that she needed to, finish her year, retire, and then be on the city council, I really hope that there's a way we can do the same for you. So, I know that this is a time restraint, and unfortunately, I can't support it because of that tonight.
Right.
But I hope that there's something that we can do so that you can finish your term on the school committee.
Right, because I wouldn't have been
Something
back
else that
here
we can
unless I
do.
got a phone call from the lawyer of the day.
Of
No,
course.
this is the way it has to be done. It's
So
okay.
my recommendation would be, can we put in an additional motion to get a recommendation from the city solicitor and the ethics commission on how we can allow him to finish his term on the school committee?
Okay, prior to doing that, I'm going to have, because I have the pleasure of the full council here, that concludes all of the appointment subcommittee members speaking. Are there any other city councilors wishing to speak at this particular time? If not, we can, Councilor Zambudo.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Danny, I consider you a friend, and I think you're a great school committee member, and
Thank you.
no matter who you were, I couldn't support this.
Right.
I can't support 2 paychecks, but
Well, maybe we can make a motion with no pay, and if the ethics.
I can certainly
applies,
support.
I have no problem
pay.
with that.
Yeah, that I can certainly support. I'd like to see you finish your term as a
You're
school
talking
committee member.
about a small amount of money.
Yeah,
but
I understand
The
that.
ethics doesn't look at it that way. And, well, you
Well-
can't just stay there, so.
Yeah. Well,
And
I-
the city is not paying me, so.
yeah, I'm pretty sure that if the question were asked correctly to ethics, they would say you can serve without salary. I'd be willing to bet on that. And I've had my dealings with ethics recently, in fact.
Right.
So that's an inside joke.
Thank you, Council. I certainly think that
thank you.
that's a
But
sentiment.
anyways, I want to just say thank you for your service. You've done a great job as a school committeeman. You've been great for the kids of this city, and we appreciate it. And these votes do not reflect in any way how we feel about you.
No, I'd probably vote the same way if I was in your chair. So.
Thank you, Councilor Zambudo. I think because of shortness of time, I think it's fair to say that we have, a motion was going to be made, and it would come from a person from within the subcommittee. Councilor Janino, would you make that motion?
Yes.
Motion to remove the monetary
Sure, so
part of it and
Yes.
allow Mr. McGuire to continue on serving on the school committee without remuneration.
Absolutely.
And members of the subcommittee, all in favor? All opposed? Members of the city council, all in favor, all opposed? This will be audited out without remuneration, and you will be asked to serve to the term expiring December 31st. Thank you, Danny,
Thank
for
you.
appearing. And again, I hate to indulge upon you but we have a serious situation going on in the city. We need an auditor as soon as possible because in the absence of auditor who has left. We have an application here before us. His name is Richard Viskey as the new auditor and budget director. Is Richard in the audience? Please come forward and state your name and address for the record, please, and give us a brief outline as to your background and what you intend to do, all the good deeds for our city. Hit the button, Richard.
Thank you, Council. Appreciate you taking this matter in your hands. My name is Richard Viskey. I am a resident of Revere. I've lived there since 1993. Currently live at 87 Harris Street in Revere. I've been in municipal finance about 20 years now. I started with the Department of Revenue, working for the Division of Local Services, certifying tax rates, free cash, and represent most of the communities. Didn't represent Revere because you couldn't represent the city you lived in. From the Department of Revenue, I've been the finance director for the town of Wenham. I was the finance director for the city of Salem for Kim Driscoll for 7 years. I served as the CFO of the city of Everett under Mayor DiMaria, and I currently am the comptroller for the town of Arlington. Like I said, pretty much the same type of work, doing auditing, budget, finance, CFO for the past 20 years, and I'm looking forward to the opportunity to serve the city I live in, and I hope that I have your support. Thank you.
Any questions from the membership of the city appointment subcommittee? Appointment subcommittee first. Any members on the subcommittee? Councilor Morabito.
I'm very impressed with your resume, and I think you'll do a fine job as city auditor. I guess my question is, what do you think will be your biggest challenge as a city auditor, taking over a vacant position with the city?
I think the biggest challenge is going to be understanding the culture and the nature of how the budget process works here and how the mayor and the council interact, and then basically making sure that we present balanced budgets, stay within the limits of Proposition 2.5. I know there's some pretty big projects, like a new high school building project, estimated that costs around $300 million, so I look forward to try to work and get that high school built. I do have children in the school system. I put one daughter through Revere High School. I got a sophomore in Revere High right now, so, basically just making sure the revenues equal the expenditures and following the Mass General laws, and hopefully serve the city well and bring us forward. And technology-wise, I guess it's a little behind as well, so I'd like to try to get us updated with some technology advances as well. So,
Excellent. And you have George Anzoni, who you're going to partner up with, and he'll brush you up to speed as well.
yeah, I've known George a while, so I look forward to it.
Any other members of the appointment subcommittee wishing to speak? Seeing none, Councilor Rotundo.
Talk about the ace in the hole. Rick Viskey is the consummate person when it comes to municipal finance or anything dealing with auditing in the city. We are going to be well served by Rick Viskey. I've known him now since, the first time that I ran for office.
Yeah, a long time.
And back then, I wanted you to come on board, if you recall.
That's right.
Accolades are not sufficient to really denote his capacities. We are truly getting a top shelf person. So I welcome you here. I welcome your expertise. I'm sure George is going to utilize it to his fullest, as well as share your knowledge with the community, which is going to be vitally important. This is an excellent pick, Brian. This is, the second thing we've agreed on this week. So we're both on a roll. So that's more than amazing. But that said, welcome, Rick, and I'm glad to see you here in Revere, working for us this time.
Thank you, Councilor.
Thank you, Councilor. Any other councilors wishing? Councilor Zambudo.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Rick's resume speaks for itself, but what I want to speak to is his character. I've known him for many, many years. I knew his mother, and he comes from great stock, and he's a person of integrity, and I couldn't be happier with this appointment. I am thrilled, and kudos to the mayor for seeing the talent and getting it when it was available. So I think we will be served very well, and very happy you're on board. Welcome.
Thank you very much.
Seeing no other councilors want to speak, councilors of the appointment subcommittee, all in favor? All opposed? Richard, you will be asked out favorably this evening. No, we'd like to have you in attendance if you'd like to stay around. We're going to vote this out this evening. The mayor would like to say a few words.
All right, happy to stay around.
And
Thank you.
we're gonna vote this out this evening, so, and
Okay,
thereafter, you
I'll-
can meet up with the mayor and you can get sworn in and all that stuff.
Okay, thank you very much.
Congratulations, do a good job for our community.
Just very quickly,
Mr. Mayor.
Mr. Chairman, appreciate the kind words from the council. Richard is a consummate professional. Was very excited in having him be interested in coming to work here. He is a Revere resident, as he mentioned. He is somebody who is raising his family here and has kids in the system. And this really speaks to the ability to tap into a talent pool that's here in the city that we're excited about. And I know that we are going to be a lot better off as a city with somebody like Richard in that position. One other thing that I do want to say is that Lori Giardello, who was our former auditor, did a fantastic job, and we appreciate all of her hard work and her service to the city over a number of years.
Those
Thank
are
you.
kind words. Any other councils wishing to speak? Well, we'll review that, and we'll vote this out favorably this evening before the committee as a whole, and congratulations, do a good job. You'll be seeing a lot of us in the future. Next is, we have a reappointment to the Revere Housing Authority Board, Anthony Peroni. He called me earlier and he was unable to attend, but where this is a reappointment and each member of the council knows this individual very well, is there any objection to this going forward this evening from many council members? Okay, we will vote Anthony out favorably out of the subcommittee. We will vote this to the committee of the whole this evening, and thank you very much for attending the appointment subcommittee for the meeting of November 13th. Thank you for your attendance.